And welcome to the 4-Point Plan. It is Sunday, September 6, 2020, and we are returning with the 4-Point Plan, the plan that can save your life, the plan that can give you a life beyond your wildest dreams. I am JR, I am your host, and I am a registered drug counselor in Los Angeles, and I am super, super excited to be back with the 4-Point Plan that I can introduce you to, tell you all about, tell you how to change your life. I am the inventor, the sole designer of the 4-Point Plan that I stole from some other programs. But the 4-Point Plan works, and it works to save your life. What is the 4-Point Plan? Let me tell you real quick. The 4-Point Plan is go to 90 meetings in 90 days. Math can be really difficult for some of you, so don't get confused. Just go to a meeting every day for 3 months. Next thing you need to do is get a sponsor. Get a sponsor, not a sponsor in name only, but a real sponsor, a sponsor that you call every day. Number 3, I need you to get a home group. Get a group that you will attend every week and you will never miss it and people will know your name. And number 4, get a commitment. This is a service commitment. This is like the person who makes the coffee at the meeting or brings the literature or unlocks the door. These are the 4 points of the 4-Point Plan, 90 and 90, sponsor, home group, commitment. You can do it, and if you do, your life will change immeasurably. You will be so happy, and life will be beyond your wildest dreams. Now, I've been on a bit of a hiatus. Once the pandemic hit, things got crazy over here at the 4-Point Plan, and I had to go back, regroup, recalibrate, and come back with a new design. And the new design is super, super exciting for me. And it's going to be super exciting for all of you because it's no longer just JR doing the 4-Point Plan. I now have 2 brand new co-hosts and people who are very experienced with the 4-Point Plan. And first off, I want to introduce you to my buddy, a fantastic example of recovery. He's just a little spitfire, and his name is Sean.
My name is Sean, and I am an alcoholic. I'm not a registered drug and alcohol counselor like JR, but I'm a registered alcoholic. I now have 17 months clean. JR, before I met JR, I kind of was already doing the 4-Point Plan. I just didn't know it yet. He's put a label to it. But I did have a sponsor. I was starting my 90 and 90 and had a commitment at every meeting, and I had a home group. JR is an inspiration to us all. I'm very grateful to be on this show with him. He's, I guess you're talking about me, not JR so much, huh? I don't know, Guy, you go. I'll follow up with you.
Wait a minute, I want to introduce my buddy Guy.
Yeah,
buddy Guy. Hey, you're my guy, buddy. You're my buddy, and his name is Guy. He is a fantastic example of the 4-Point Plan. This dude has commitments out the wazoo. He is the secretary of the Friday night meeting that we all go to, and we love that meeting because we love this guy, a 4-Point Plan graduate, and now also a counselor here in Los Angeles. Here is my friend Guy.
Hello, everybody. I am that guy. I'm an alcoholic, and I am a graduate of the 4-Point Plan system. So, yes, I am an alcoholic. I believe that the 4-Point Plan has had a huge impact on me staying sober today, which is day 1,332, I might add. That's a lot of days of staying sober. And I learned a little bit about this 4-Point Plan from the guy sitting on this side of me. Actually, he's sitting about 4 or 5 miles away from me. But we are in this Zoom meeting. And Mr. JR introduced me to this 4-Point Plan. And it seemed to work. So here I am on this podcast right now. And we're going to talk a little bit about this.
Guy, you didn't do three out of 4. You did 4 out of 4.
I did 3 out of 4 for a little while, and it wasn't working. And then I did all 4, and things started happening.
So what I like about this, there's three different people who've done the 4-Point Plan at different stages of their sobriety. JR's the veteran, no pun intended. JR, I know you're in retirement. But he's got, how many years do you have, JR? 14?
12.
12, close enough. You know, and then guys got what, 3, 4?
3 years, 7 months, and 2 weeks. Oh, 3 weeks.
And then I'm well into my second year. You know, these are all different stages of our sobriety, but we've all done the 4-point plan. You can see by our houses behind us who actually stays more, not in a fraction of their sobriety.
Oh, he's calling you fractional guy.
You know, I'm at my house, so it works.
What?
You got your own house. That's what I love about it. You know what I mean? There's 3 different stages of sobriety, and JR, you know,
I'm in the garage.
yeah, he's in the garage. JR's got, you know, working to his masters, and if it wasn't for that 4-point plan, he probably wouldn't be in as good shape as he is today. When I met JR, he was actually starting his 90-90 probably for the 20th, 30th time. And I was surprised when he started coming to my meetings, Quality of Life. I don't know if I'm allowed to give a shout out to Quality of Life, but I am. And, you know, I was going to groups with JR. And so then he started questioning everybody in the meetings and in our groups about, you know, how many points are we doing? And he'd always do me last. You know, he would always do me last because I always had, it was not a fraction.
That's right, man. I love the quality of life people because I could go around a whole room of people. I could have 30 people in a room and I'd go one by one. How many meetings did you go to this week? And some schlub would be like, I went to 1 meeting. I'm like, what did you do at 1 meeting? 1 meeting? God, why didn't you spend 6 days at the bar? 6 days at your crack house? Where were you the rest of the week? 1 meeting. My God. So I go around the whole room. Someone would say, oh, I did 3 meetings. And well, hey, you know, we require you to go to 3 meetings at the treatment center. So I would tell them a story about going to 3 meetings. I would say, going to 3 meetings is doing the bare minimum. Have you ever seen that movie Office Space? It's a Jennifer Aniston movie. It's hilarious. Well, Jennifer Aniston works at TGI Fridays in this movie. And on her suspenders, she's supposed to have little buttons and pins. They're called pieces of flair, right? And so she's at work one day and her boss comes up to her and he's like, Joanna, I noticed that you only have 14 pieces of flair today. And she says, well, yeah, that's what's required. Why 14? He's like, yeah, but look at Brian over there. Brian has 36 pieces of flair. And Brian, his suspenders are just weighed down with buttons everywhere. And then the manager looks at Joanna, looks at Jennifer Aniston, and he says to her, Joanna, what do you think of someone that does only the bare minimum required? So I love to tell that story in the group and tell that to a patient who says, oh, I went to the 3 meetings that are required. I'm like, so you do the bare minimum. Congratulations. I bet that bare minimum will work really good when you go back to the heroin dealer and say, hey, can I get some balloons? I did the bare minimum when I was in rehab and I'm ready to start doing drugs again.
Half measures.
Half measures of Eldas. What?
Balloons.
Nada.
Balloons. Half measures of Eldas. Balloons. Of Eldas. Another drink. A highball. Shaken but stirred, not martini. I watched James Bond the other day and I'm like, man, this made me want to be an alcoholic when I was a kid. I was like, man, I want to be cool like James Bond and drink some martinis, shaken, not stirred. Woo! So I'm always telling the guys, you know, about the half measures, about the bare minimum. So I go around the room and I'll check in with everybody, but I would always pick Sean to go last because I knew Sean was doing this quality of life thing. And quality of life, they require a lot from you. They got a list of rules. Now in NA,
it's like a scroll that comes out.
Maybe they're suggestions, but I call them rules. In NA, we have no rules. There's basically no rules. Just a bunch of maniac drug addicts doing whatever we got to do to stay clean. But at the quality of life, they got 4 pages of rules, bro. And some of them are whack. Some of them are like, if you're the secretary of the meeting, the whole next year, you got to clean the bathroom. You're like, what? Well, fuck that, man. I never want to be the secretary because I don't have to clean the bathroom, especially at your clubhouse. I hear that bathroom is like a truck stop bathroom. It's crazy.
Are you talking to me?
Oh, yeah, guys at the clubhouse with the truck stop bathroom, too. You know, the bathroom at either one of y'all's clubhouses, it's funny because both these guys got home groups at clubhouses with bad bathrooms.
Mine smells like pot. Mine smells like pot when you walk in.
Dude, I would seriously go outside and pee on a wall before I go in your bathroom. Sorry.
You don't use the bathroom when you're there.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to catch coronavirus. Ah!
Yeah.
So yeah, it is September 6th, 2020, and we are like 5-6 months into a 18-month pandemic. And this has caused a whole bunch of new problems for people going to meetings. So finding someone new and trying to introduce them to the 4-point plan, introduce them to the idea of going to 90 meetings in 90 days, finding a sponsor, getting a home group and getting commitment. This is very challenging. It's really, really hard. But thanks to Guy, I've learned it's not really that hard. I hear Guy talking to newcomers and he tells them, hey, congratulations, you got clean during the pandemic. Now you have the greatest opportunity in all of history to go to 90 meetings in 90 days because now we're new.
Correct. This is the easiest time in the history of AA to go to 90 meetings in 90 days. All you got to do is pick up your phone, type in Zoom, AA, bam, you're on a meeting. You don't have to drive there. You don't have to walk there. You don't have to take the bus there.
You don't got to take the bus, Sean.
You don't. All you have to do, get on your phone, you're in a meeting, 1 hour a day. Do that every day for 90 times in a row, and you're doing the 90 and 90.
90 and 90.
Not a fraction.
Just saying.
That's the first point.
Easiest time in history to do a 90 and 90.
You can do them from your basement at home if you want.
Yeah. You can do it in your sweatpants. You can do it in your sweatpants.
Yeah, I had to lead a
You can do it in
meeting.
your underwear as long as you don't stand up.
Don't stand up in your underwear.
Yeah, I had to lead a meeting not too long ago, and I wore a suit and tie on the bottom, and I had boxers on the bottom. On
No,
the top.
you did not.
Yeah, I did.
Boxers on the top.
Not on the top.
So the next time you see Sean at a Zoom meeting wearing a tie, you probably could guess that there's nothing on underneath.
Yeah, just yell out the word fire! Fire! There's a fire behind you. He'll stand up and he'll be like, oh, boxers on.
Do the helicopter.
Okay, I'll have boxers on.
John, what's going on under the table, brother? What's happening down there?
What's going on at the table?
Uh-oh.
So if you're new to the 4-point plan, the 4-point plan podcast, this is exciting too. We're hoping to get this thing up on YouTube. I'm going to start us a whole YouTube channel of 4-point plan podcast, so you'll be able to watch us in all of our beauty and all of our glory as we recover and get happier and healthier and better lives. One of these days you'll flip onto the YouTube channel of the 4-point plan. You'll see all three of us like chilling on a beach in Hawaii somewhere doing the 4-point plan podcast. Because life just keeps getting better if you keep doing the 4-point plan. If you continue going to meetings, if you have a regular relationship with your sponsor, you talk to them all the time, maybe you'll even get into this weird thing that we call the 12 steps. If you do 12 steps, your life will definitely change. Someone once told me when I was first getting clean and I was trying to figure out what the 12 steps were about, they said the 12 steps are designed to change your opinion of yourself. Now, here's how good that this works, okay? I got here, I hated myself. I couldn't look in the mirror. I was just disgusted at me. I was skinny and sucked up and just looked like hell, and I was ashamed of myself. I looked into my eyes, and all I could see was all the guilt and shame that I had acquired through all my years of using drugs, and I just did not like me. I got into the 12 steps, and what it forced me to do is it forced me to ask some very serious questions of myself and give some very honest answers. And I did that. And I figured out how to make amends to people and how to change the direction of my life. And when I was done, I absolutely changed my opinion of myself. I no longer hated myself. I loved myself so much that I wanted to hang out with me all the time. I was going to try to figure out to do a cloning machine and make a clone of me so just me and me could hang out and just go places and do stuff. Maybe me and me could go to Disneyland. Me and me could go riding motorcycles together. Yeah, I am a huge fan of me.
JR t-shirts.
Yes, and now I'll wear one next week. I wear a t-shirt regularly of me, of my face on my t-shirt because I'm the head of my fan club and I owe that to the 4-point plan. What do you think, Mr. Guy? When I met you, you were not a huge fan of Guy.
No, I was not. Or was I a huge fan of going to meetings? But I had to do something to make my life a little better. I was done trying to do things my way. And so by the time I met JR, I did have a sponsor. I was in an outpatient program, met JR, I had a sponsor. I was going to some meetings, definitely not a meeting a day for 90 days. And let's see, I did not have a commitment. And I thought I did have a home group because I was going to one building.
One building?
Yeah, it was in the San Fernando Valley here.
Listen, the home group is
that.
A building is not a home group.
Yes, it was one particular building where they had a lot of meetings there. And I was going to, whenever I can catch a meeting there, I would catch the meeting there.
Oh, I know, yeah.
So I figured that was my home group. So I had to get educated on what a home group is. I mentioned that in the beginning. And he explained to me that, no, this place that you attend meetings, that's not your home group. Your home group is one particular meeting that you go to each and every week on the same exact day at the same exact time. And I said, well, I usually go to this one meeting. I think it was a Monday, Monday morning meeting. I said, I can usually make that one, but sometimes I have to work Monday morning, so I don't know if that's going to be my home group. We'll see, though. Eventually, I was able to make it there more often than I thought. It's just the idea of committing to anything was freaking me out. Committing to a 4-point plan? Damn it, dude, I don't know if I have to do that to stay sober. I think I know what I need to do. Eventually, I had to say, yeah, you know what? Let me give this thing a shot. Because, oh, Lord knows, I was giving everything else a shot, if you know what I mean.
You were a straight shooter, pal.
Yeah. So JR introduced me to that 4-point plan. I thought I was doing okay without it. And I noticed that everybody around me who was not doing this 4-point plan, there wasn't many of them staying sober. And I felt something inside of me that was kind of happening. I was just getting a little bit distant. I threw away that 90 and 90 plan. Didn't have a commitment yet. So I had a home group, and I was going to about maybe 4 meetings a week and a sponsor. Yeah, I had a sponsor. And I was going to about 4 meetings a week. And then pretty soon work was coming in, getting in the way. So I started going, as long as I go to 3, the bare minimum of what I was required to stay in this sober living, I'm all right, right? Wrong. I wasn't all right. Things started feeling empty in here. I started not thinking about staying sober all the time. So I came to JR. I said, you know what? Yeah, my life is getting a little hectic right now. I think I might. He said, well, I've been telling you about this 4-point plan. You think you might want to give it a try? I said, okay. At that time, there were some other people that were challenging JR on this 4-point plan, saying that it's impossible, and they were challenging him. Why don't you do this 4-point plan then if you think it works? He explained to him that he has done it several times, but he took the challenge on. He said, all right, I'll do it too if it makes you guys feel better, to show that it can be done. At that point, I was committed. I made a commitment to JR. I said, yeah, I will try the 4-point plan. And to wrap this part of that story up, I'll just say for now, I stayed sober and my life got better.
What? You're telling me you did the 4-point plan you stayed sober and your life got better. That is amazing. That's what I've been telling people for forever. For years now, I've been telling people, if you do the 4-point plan, your life will get better. You'll stay sober. It'll be awesome. Let me tell you a story. My sponsor, when I first got clean, he told me about priorities. And he sat me down in his race car, because my sponsor has a fucking race car. Seriously. He's got one of those Ford GT.
My sponsor has a race car too.
Does he really?
Yeah. And they're both
The same sponsor?
No.
It's not the same guy.
Do they race each other?
No.
I don't know.
So I think that my Bob would be your Bob in a race car, in a race. Bob's got the GT50. It looks like a Lamborghini, but it's a Ford. You have to look it up. It's crazy. It's a Ford, but it looks like a Lamborghini. So I was sitting in it, and it was like being inside a spaceship. I swear to God. Like a $250,000 car. It's insane. I'm inside this car, and he's like, listen, man, you got to make recovery your number one priority. I'm like, man, I'm going to make getting me one of these race cars my number one priority. But in reality, my thought was, you know what I want to do is I want to make my kid my number one priority, because I feel like I failed her. I've been using for so long that I haven't been a good father. I want to get my priorities straight and make being a father my number one priority. And he understood that, because he had a couple kids of his own. He also had a beautiful wife and a business, a multi-million-dollar business he was president of. And he told me, no, if I don't make recovery my number one priority, I'm a bad business owner, a bad husband, a bad father. And I just kind of trusted him, man. They always say trust the process. I definitely believe in trusting my sponsor. So I trusted my sponsor. I was like, all right, man, as much as I want to make my kid my number one priority, I'll make recovery number one. We'll see how things work out with the kid, right? Sure enough, the kid called. I called my kid at 60 days clean. And I'm like, hey, I'm clean. She's like, whatever, you fucking liar. You've been saying that shit for years. I'm like, no, seriously, I'm clean this time. She's like, well, if you are, then I want you to move home from California and move back to Ohio and be a dad. And I mean, that was pretty heavy. And I really, really wanted to do it. So I call my sponsor, and I'm in tears. And I'm like, hey, man, she said if I'm really clean, I need to move home. But I'm afraid to leave here and all the people in my home group and all the people in my fellowship that have helped me get sober and stay sober. I'm afraid if I leave this, I'll go back to shooting heroin, because nothing has ever worked for me before like this has, like going to meetings here with you guys has. And he said, I understand, and I think you're right. I don't want you to leave either. I'm afraid you'll use. And it was pretty, it was a foregone conclusion that if I went back to using heroin, I would be dead. So we didn't want me to die. So he said, what I want you to do is I want you to wait until you have a year clean. And when you have a year clean, you can go and visit her in Ohio. And that's exactly what I did, man. I stayed clean for a year. I came up with a couple $100 at the end of the year, and a friend of mine loaned me the rest of the money. A friend of mine from NA loaned me the rest of the money to get a plane ticket and fly home and to hang out with my kid for the first time in like 5 years. It was awesome, man. It was really, really awesome. And it's because I trusted my sponsor. You know, I talked to my sponsor. I trusted my sponsor. He's the one who told me about priorities, man. And he's right. And if you guys can pass this along to your sponsees, maybe the people that you counsel, the number one priority in your life has got to be your recovery. And if you put recovery first, everything else in your life becomes more valuable. Everything is so much better if recovery is number one. That's been my experience, man. And it's crazy too. Like, I'll use recovery to trick myself into better things in life. I had almost 4 years clean, right? And life was going hard. Things were bad. The dog fell in the pool and died. That is miserable, right? A sponsee died. A patient died. My uncle died. My stepfather died. Like, lots of terrible things all happened all at once. And I was like, oh, man, I don't know if I can stay clean. I don't know if I can stay clean. But my 4th birthday is coming up. And when my 4th birthday comes up, my daughter is going to fly into California and give me a cake. And if I use, I can't get that cake. So I used recovery as a reason to stay sober and then not react to all these terrible things that were happening in life. Also, I had a heavyweight championship match coming up. right? I was wrestling for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I knew if I used, I would not get my championship title match.
Grab the belt, grab the belt.
And so I stayed,
There it is.
sober, and I won my first ever heavyweight championship of the world. For those of you that don't know, not only am I a drug counselor, I am also a professional wrestler here in Los Angeles, and I am the 9-time heavyweight champion of the world. I'm not the 9-time heavyweight champion of Los Angeles. I'm the 9-time heavyweight champion of the world. But everything good in my life, man, is a direct result of getting clean and sober, staying clean and sober, using the 4-point plan, using the 12-step programs, going to meetings, calling my sponsor, visiting my home group on a regular basis, fulfilling my commitments. You know about commitments, I'll tell you about commitments. They're awesome. There's meeting level commitments like coffee. There's area level commitments like H&I. There's regional level commitments like sponsorship behind the walls. There's lots of things that you can do to give back to the program to save your life. I want to touch on Guy talking about his home group, because yes, his home group was essentially just a location, and making the decision to commit to that home group and to go to one specific meeting every week is exactly what he needed, and it worked for him. And you could tell just by listening to him here on the podcast, you could tell that it's working for him still. Now, Sean had a different experience. His home group was quality of life. Quality of life is like it really is like a location, but also a home group. They only have meetings once a day, and there's 3 specific meetings that they cannot miss. And I remember them explaining to me, I got to be there 3 times a week. I'm like, what? I even tried to make quality of life my home group, but I couldn't qualify because I'm in college and I couldn't make all their meetings. But man, quality of life is about. Sean, tell us about quality of life real quick. Just if anybody's in Los Angeles, you want to find a good meeting, you want to check out this quality of life thing.
For quality of life, there's 1 meeting a day. Well, now there's 3 meetings a day, but they're all online. But before the pandemic, when I started going there, you know, I got lucky. I got blessed with them because I needed structure and I needed a foundation in my sobriety. And when I found them, or they found me, like JR said, they had rules, but they're called traditions. It's more like a scroll when I asked him to be my sponsor, and he pulled the scroll out full of stuff I had to do. I had to read the big book cover to cover, get a commitment at every single meeting, which I had to go to the meeting every single day, at least for 90 to 90. And I had to get that was my home group. And, you know, not just one commitment, but I covered other people's commitments. I remember a time JR asked me, how many commitments do you have this week? And there were sometimes I had like 14 or 15 commitments that week, because I would cover other people. And, you know, at first, like with the commitments are very important. Like, because me, I had no accountability. Like my responsibility level was nil, was nothing. And so then I got these commitments. And at first I didn't understand why I had to get these commitments. Why I got to show up an hour and a half early to a fucking meeting to do a 1.5-minute commitment. It didn't make sense to me, but I didn't question it. And I kept coming back and I kept going. You know, after being there for as long as, you know, the longer I was there, it started making more sense why. Next thing you know, like I'm showing up on time, I'm showing up early, I'm being accountable. People could call on me and know that I was going to show up there to give you a key to the building if you're a secretary. And quality life got me the foundation and the structure I needed. I don't know if I would have got that with any other meeting, but you know, I was willing. You know, I was willing, I was ready, and that's what my sponsor said. I called him every single day at 4 o'clock every single day. He taught me the importance of alarms on your phone, because me, like, I'm always in my own head. It's always about me. I was so selfish, self-centered. Like, I didn't think about anything else. So I had to set these alarms until they got embedded in my head that, okay, I got to call people on their birthday. And like JR said about sobriety has to come first, and it's absolutely true. Sobriety has to come first. Everything else is a byproduct of life. When I first came to AA, you know, I was trying to get, you know, I got like 60 days clean. You know, I got this pink cloud, as they call it, and everything's great. You know, I want to take on the world. I got to get a job. I'm going to register for school. And my sponsor's like, Sean, slow down. Your sobriety comes first. I had to cancel school. I had to put my kids on hold for the first few months because I couldn't even take care of myself. And like, I was a little resentful at first. Like, I want to be part of my kid's life. I need this. And he's like, Sean, you have to slow down. You can't even take care of yourself. how you can be a good dad. Like JR said, you can't be a good dad, you can't be a good father, partner, whatever. And at first, it did not make sense to me at all, but I continued coming back and continued doing it. I'm still pretty new to the program. I got a couple days less than these guys, but it makes sense more today of why the sponsorship, the home group, because the fellowship is your support group, and I can call any person that I go to meetings with, and they will most likely always answer and give me the advice if I need advice, or just let me talk to them. And I never had that before. Just having somebody to reach out and talk to is ideal, and it's essential, and especially during like the pandemic. And it's like Guy said, it's the perfect time to go to meetings in Germany or go to meetings in Europe, and they're all over the place. If you don't understand them, you can still hear the message even if you don't understand the language. So yeah, I'm just grateful to be here and with JR and Guy, and you guys are one of my number one support groups. And my sponsor does know my number, and he knows my name, and I talk to him every single day.
I love your sponsor, by the way. That's a good dude. I like this idea when we get here and we think that we got some answers, man, and our sponsors tell us, dummy up. You know what you need to do? You need to dummy up. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm a super smart guy. I'm the smartest guy in the room. Yeah, but you're in a room by yourself. You're in a bathroom. Yeah, but I'm the smartest guy in the bathroom by myself. No, you need to dummy up so you can get clean, man, so you can stay sober. My sponsor loves to tell me that you can never be too dumb to get clean and sober. However, you can be too smart. So what I did was I went to meetings actually for 7 years while shooting heroin. And I would go in the meetings all high, and everyone would take birthdays and key tags and celebrate their anniversaries and their clean time. And I would get so jealous. And I was super smart, right? So I was trying to think of a way where I could get clean time and anniversaries and continue to shoot heroin. And apparently, it was mathematically impossible, but it took me 7 years to figure that out. So not only was I not as smart as I thought I was actually dumber than most people. So for a long time, early in recovery, all I liked to do was help people move, because I told them I'm the big dumb guy. I'm the big dumb guy that will help you move. I'm not going to help you solve any equations or do anything super smart. So dummy up, y'all.
Dummy up and go to meetings.
I like that one.
You got to dummy up and go to meetings. Now, Guy's a meeting maker. Man, you know what they say about meeting makers, right?
No.
What's that?
Meeting makers make it.
Yeah, I knew that was the answer.
You know what comedians say about meeting makers, right?
What? I don't know if I know the answer to that one.
Meeting makers make it to meetings.
Yes, even better. You know what? I did enjoy the meetings, even in my early sobriety. We're going to the first point of JR's 4-point plan here. I enjoyed the meetings. I was getting something positive about it. My head was trying to be negative. I was trying to say, oh, I hate the way that guy says that. Oh, I hate this. That's not the way I would do it. But I would have enough positivity just to take one thing in there, and I would feel better coming out of it every meeting I went to. I would. So I enjoyed meetings, but then JR said that one of those 4 points was 90 and 90. And it took me, a few minutes to figure out 90 and 90 on 90 meetings in 90 days. Okay. That's a meeting a day for 90 days.
That's not a commitment.
Which is about 3 months, right?
3 months,
3
yeah.
months.
Do the math. I'm not very smart, but I think.
And what did I do? I tried to justify in my head right away, and this lasted about maybe a month, maybe about 2 months of convincing myself that I don't need to go to a meeting every day. I do not. I didn't understand how it would impact me to keep coming to meetings in the future. I think that's part of the beauty of the 90 and 90 part, it just keeps us coming back to that meeting. We're just going to meetings. Whether, hopefully one of those meetings in your 90 can become your home group. It's a meeting that you're going to every week at that particular time, on that particular day. And you might get a home group by doing a 90. Not guaranteed, though. I was able to bounce around different times of the day to go to meetings. But I noticed when I was going to about 4 meetings a week, and then it dropped down to about 3 meetings a week, I wasn't connected with the people in the meeting. I wasn't. There was a couple people I would talk to, maybe after the meeting, or maybe before, if I got there early enough. Or I would talk to them. They would just say, "Hey, how's it going? Oh, good to see you. Okay, bye. Maybe I'll see you again sometime." I didn't have a schedule. I wasn't going to a meeting every day, or I wasn't going to a home group yet. So I felt this. I felt like I wasn't really a part of. That was one of the driving forces to get me to. That was part of that slip that I was feeling inside of myself. I felt like I was slipping closer to taking a drink again. And luckily I had, I talked to a little bit about my sponsor, with my sponsor at the time. He would always tell me to go to a meeting. Like, that was his answer for a lot of.
It's a good answer.
He'd be like, I know, it was a great answer. He'd be like, go to a meeting. And I would take his suggestion. I would go to a meeting. I'll feel better. But then the next day I wouldn't go to a meeting. So this started happening little. I started going to about 3 meetings a week. And then I had a talk with JR. Luckily, he came into my life, and I felt comfortable talking to him about things. And it basically came down to this 4-point plan again. And I said, you know what? Okay. I said, okay. I said, I think I do probably need to go to more meetings. They make me feel good. So I said, I will try this thing.
Try.
I think we'll get into this try thing.
Try.
Another conversation. But I told him I would try it. And we had about another month of, he was explaining the word try to me. But, I'm telling you guys, once I did finally, I was kicking and screaming to this 4-point plan. I did not want to do it. I was trying to find out my way to do this. And I still wasn't even sure if the 4-point plan was going to work, but I started doing it. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, I was staying sober, and my life started getting better. So why not, right? There he is. It's a little green guy from Star Wars.
Baby Yoda.
There is no try. There's only do and do not. Do go to meetings. Do go to lots of meetings. Dude, I love going to meetings. I love that guy goes to a lot of meetings. Dude, okay, so this is really cool. When I did my 90 last year, I started going to quality of life. I stopped going to everything else. I just was going to quality of life every day. Every day I'll go to quality of life 1. Sean will be there every time, which I loved. I was like, look at this dude. He's doing the 4-point plan. He's doing the 90. He said to me, every time I go to me, he's there. Every time I would get there, he would meet me with a smile on his face, and he would say, hey, JR, I saved you a seat. I was like, wait, really? Like, it was always like, what? Really? He's fucking with me, right? No, he always saved me a seat every time. It was pretty fucking cool. So going to meetings every day is the way to do it, man. I love it. I love seeing you guys at meetings all the time. I love the fact that you guys do this. And I honestly believe that 90 is really it's just training for going to a meeting every day for fucking like a year.
Yeah, it's my life.
And then I just keep doing it. Just keep going to meetings every day. Are you there? Oh no. Oh no, what happened? Did I get kicked off the internet?
Oh, here he is.
Hey,
Uh-oh.
it looks like it might.
Uh-oh.
It looks like it still might be recording though. I don't know. Hopefully the recording's not too damaged. Obviously, I was going on and on about going to meetings and how valuable it was. Listen, let's go ahead and figure out how to wrap this up. Sean, you want to go ahead and wrap it up for us?
With what?
Tell us what you learned today, what you hope everybody else learned today.
What I learned today is you go get your ass to a fucking meeting.
Get your ass.
No matter what. Because like when I first went to meetings, yeah, like Guy said, I enjoyed going. I always got something out of them. Even though I always made it there. You always hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I gotta take the bus. I got this." Well, I did the bus there back almost every single day. Most time I'll get a ride home, but I always made it there. My feet always got there, no matter what. I knew I had to be there at this time. It didn't matter, and I had to be there an hour and a half early to every single meeting. So like trying to balance life with that, yeah, it was a little difficult. But my sponsor kept telling me, without sobriety, nothing else matters. Sobriety has to come first. Sobriety has to come first. You know, like I remember when I first started when I was going there was a concert, and I asked him, "Hey, can I go to the concert tonight?" And he's like, "No, it's just Saturday night. You have to be at the meeting." I'm like, "Why can't I just miss one meeting? I'll make up the 99 at the end." He said, "Sure, you can do that, but go find yourself another sponsor." Remember the rules I gave you? This is, you have to be willingness. And I did. And, you know, I mean, there's always going to be another concert, and I'll make it to the next one. Thank you.
Yeah. Guy, what do you think, man? What do you hope people learn today?
Oh man, I'm just happy they got to meet Sean and I.
That's right, the new stars of the show.
Well, I'm happy you invited Sean and I to this 4-Point Plan podcast, because I felt like this is just the beginning of something magical.
Yeah.
And
We're
I think
back on this recording one day.
we are going to help people recover, and who doesn't want that, right? I think we just touched on this 4-Point Plan a little bit, and I'm looking forward to the next time we get together, because I could talk about this thing all day long.
That's right, brother. I've been talking about the 4-Point Plan nonstop for about 5 or 6 years now. I love it. It changed my life. It's very magical for me to watch examples like Sean and like Guy, and to see you guys recover and see the lights come on in your eyes, and see you experience life on life's terms and walk through things no matter what, and grow and experience the joys and the victories and the rewards of recovery. I've seen it happen in both you, and it's a beautiful thing, man. I really enjoy it. I love watching it happen for a newcomer. I'm hoping some newcomers can tune into the podcast. They can hear the enthusiasm in our voices. They can hear all the happiness that we have found in sobriety. And I just want everybody to have a piece of this, man. So we're going to keep doing this every week, man. We're going to keep coming back. We're going to throw this up on YouTube. We're going to put it on the podcast. I'm going to figure out a way to get it on Spotify and iTunes. And the 4-Point Plan will continue to grow and grow and grow. If you have any confusion or questions about the 4-Point Plan, you can email us at 4pointplan@gmail.com, and that is with the number 4pointplan@gmail.com. If you want to visit the website, you want to type in 4-Point Plan, but you want to spell out the word 4, FOURPOINT plan, PLAN.com, 4pointplan.com, and you can find links to the podcast there. We're always available. This will be episode 10, and I'm super excited to get the new episode up with my new co-hosts, Guy and Sean. Thank you guys both for being here today. I want to thank all the listeners out there for listening. And remember, 4-Point Plan, baby. 90 and 90. Get a sponsor, get a home group, get a commitment, and get a life beyond your wildest dreams. Thank you.